Hello and welcome to Respect the Crit. I'm your host and game master, Ian Duncan. My pronouns are he, him, and I am joined by some incredible people. Firstly, Jamie Lee Bonez.
Hello, I am Jamie, she, her, and I play Ello, they, them, the modified medical droid.
Who is in the thick of it. In the thick of it with some other droids.
Oh boy, howdy.
All those droid boys. And we are also joined by the nearest, the dearest, Alex Herrera.
Hi, I'm Alex. I play Begex Botano, Doug Slicer. Pronouns, he, him for both of us. Because I have multiple personalities.
And when you embody Begex, we literally see you change. There's like a physical change that happens. Your face elongates. You bring your feet up in the chair to actually like type and move.
I don't know. I don't know if I can do that. That's as high as it goes.
Your characters are sort of each in their own stressful situations. How do y'all feel about that?
Not great.
Not great, you know, escaping real life stress to go into some in-game stress.
Play a nice, relaxing game with friends in a fantasy world where you can enjoy all the stress and more of your real life with added other problems.
Yeah, like being captured, you know, getting electrocuted by little stun droids.
Regular Tuesday.
Hey, in Star Wars, it's just a regular Tuesday, or whatever they call Tuesday. Blur's Day, or whatever.
No Roman calendars in Star Wars.
Let's not waste any more time. Let's not waste any more days of the calendar, and let's just jump right in. A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
Episode 34, Gold System Getaway, Part 3, Captured. Begax has been taken prisoner aboard the Severity, a large space cruiser belonging to Agent Geralt Tyron of the Imperial Security Bureau. Separated from his crew and his slicing gear, his plan to override the ship's guns seems nigh impossible from the confines of an Imperial cell. Down on the planet, Ello has their own plans in perceivable peril. While trying to take control of Socorro's planetary defenses, Ello and the rest of the crew drew blasters on defensive droids. Caught in a tight firefight within the spaceport tower, the odds for success become smaller and smaller. But you know what they say about the odds. Refrain from mentioning them in my company!
Let's go ahead and roll the Destiny roll. I rolled one dark side.
I rolled one light side. Oh my gosh.
I also rolled one light side.
Nice. And I did a quick little poll to the Wills of the Force before we sat down to play to see in what way they would tip the balance for our Fearless Fringers. And today, they have granted you an additional light side point.
How generous.
Yes, very generous. They're always generous, no matter what side of the Force they decide to tip the balance of. Thank you, Wills. But yes, we have an additional light side point, which, when used, will evaporate from the game. It doesn't become a dark side point. It doesn't feed into that. Cool, so we have 3 light side, 1 dark side. The camera pans down on a Corvette-class Imperial cruiser called the Severity, above Socoran space, above this dusty red planet. And inside a narrow hallway, stormtroopers stomp through and they push Begax into a small cell, sort of like trapezoidal in dimension. Sort of like the cell that you would see in A New Hope, where Princess Leia is held, you know, a brig of a ship where space is important. and we see Bigax, binders removed from his wrists, his equipment stripped of him. Alex, is Bigax thinking or feeling anything in this moment? What's going on?
Well, Bigax would be a little upset that he's captured, just a little bit.
Understandably.
Yeah. I think first thing he would do is mechanically he has a critical wound, so I'd like to say like canonically that there's like he like looks at his chest and there's like a fresh new scar, like a wound right near where there was the previous patchwork that Elo did on him, and he just kind of reps over it and just goes, they're not gonna like that, and like closes his little vest, and he hobbles over to what I assume is like a steel bed, looks at it and gets a quick reminder of the conditions on Tabro Station and of the bunks from the ISB Academy, and he kind of just sits on it and feels the cold on his butt and just sits there looking and taking in his environment, because a brig, he's not familiar with a brig on an Imperial cruiser. Like this is a new thing for him.
No stranger to a cell maybe, but certainly not one floating in a tin can in space.
Yeah. This design is new, but at its heart, all cells are the same.
That's very poetic, and I genuinely love that. And I think like as Bigax experiences these like memories, we flash back to the planet Malastare. We cut to its forested and dusty surfaces and a transport vehicle rolling over like rough terrain, going along the path, and we see Bigax, a noticeably younger Bigax, bouncing around in this vehicle with all these other Dougs in there as well. They've got binders on their wrists, and it looks like a prison transport. And Bigax looks relatively young in comparison to some of these Doug. They like look at him, and like one Doug sneers and does that like, and like his whiskers like a. We see a quick montage where Bigax is brought to an intake facility, and he's like sprayed down, like with his hands up against the wall, and I imagine he like growls back at whoever is like spraying him with a hose. He's given a uniform and clean clothes, different clothes, and then put in binders again and left in a room that is similar to the cell he finds himself in now. A little bit different, maybe even a little bit more spacious, but as you said, Alex, any prison is a prison. They're all the same kind of walls. And a man enters into the room after some time, uniformed and stern looking. This is Geralt Tyron, also a little younger looking, still severe, and he carries a data pad with him. He walks into the room and sits at a sparse table across from Bigax, sets the data pad down, and the first thing he does is undo Bigax's binders.
Bigax rubs the wrists where the binders were, and I like the description of the younger Bigax. He has less whiskers and less beads in the beard. Like it's like maybe 1 or 2 as opposed to like the 5 that he's got now. The hair's not as severe, and he kind of rubs his wrist and looks up at this humanoid. Thanks.
You're welcome, Mr. Botano. And you see him flipping through the data pad, and he looks up at Bigax and he says, "It seems you have some aptitude for slicing. Where did you learn that, if you don't mind me asking?"
Kind of chuckles. Well, if I say anything, am I going to get incriminated? I'm not trying to expose myself here.
Let's call this just a conversation. I should introduce myself. My name is Geralt Tyron. And what you say here we'll keep between you and I.
Bigax looks at a wall nearby, assuming there's like a 2-way mirror of some kind, or 1-way mirror, and he looks at it back to Tyron. Okay, Well, I don't know if it says anything in your data pad there, but I got a lot of siblings. 10, to be precise. And, Malastaire's not a place for untalented folk. He's gonna have air quotes when he says untalented. You're either quick or you're strong. Anything else in between is squished under a boot or sent away to work for the huts. I kinda... He scratches his head like I am right now, because I don't know why I did that physically.
Rabbit, like an anime character.
Yeah. I learned some tricks at first, here and there, just, changing signs. That was fun. Caused a little bit of accidents here and there. That was all in good fun, but learning about intricate systems. A lot of old-timers in the capital, they take an interest on passing down skills. And it just so happens that my assigned work was with a couple of those old-timers. I'm not going to give away any names, but I mean, he points to the datapad. I'm sure you probably already know of them. They gave me a few lessons, and I went from changing signs to changing account numbers.
You have pilfered quite a few Republic credits. However, lucky for you, we're something different now. We're an empire. We're unified. Now, you mentioned you have a large family. But, forgive me, I can't help but notice, none of them are here for you now. Why is that?
Life wasn't... He kind of struggles a bit. Wasn't easy. Now, I'm not gonna be here for pity or a sob story, but... Mom popped us all out. Died a little bit after that. Dad didn't give a criff. So... siblings kind of looked out for themselves. I learned, again, a couple lessons from a different form of teacher. Hunger... fear, all the good emotions a kid should feel. And I learned very quickly that I was no good at taking bread like the rest of my siblings were. So when I found something I was good at, I took something else. I took my chance to get the hell out of there.
A Garelt Tyron, He looks up from his data pad as you're talking about this, and he's looking directly at you as you're saying this, not breaking eye contact, and you can see in his eyes there's a severeness there, and he nods and he says, "You work primarily on instinct. It seems. It's allowed you to learn very quickly and adapt. It's rather impressive. Do you know what happens to most Dug on Malastair? Do you know where most Dug end up?"
Yeah. They either, join one of the local gangs, or they end up at the bottom of a ditch somewhere. And then there's that small, unfortunate few who get shipped off to a hut for whatever purpose he needs them for, or they need them for.
That's true. If it isn't criminal enterprise, then it's pod racing or the gas refineries. None of those futures have very high life expectancies. But I want to give you the opportunity, Bigax. I want to turn those instincts that you have and hone them into actual skills. I want you to help me build something. Does that interest you?
I'm okay with my hands, unless you're talking more in the figurative sense of building something.
I am. It's something that's bigger than me, bigger than you, bigger than all of us. We're starting a program here on Malastare, and we could use someone with your instincts for slicing. Something to change your future, because I've got to be honest, Bigax, your future right now is not looking bright. But you can be a shining example for your species here on Malastare. How does that sound?
Bigax kind of has this, wondrous look in his face. Well, sounds better than going back in that transport into a prison. Or losing my lungs in one of those refineries.
Why don't you join me, Bigax? Why don't you help me build this empire together?
I'm not gonna say no. Just and he looks at the door that's behind the tyrant, and there's, I assume, I'm just gonna envision like a tiny trapezoidal window slot, right? And there's like, you see some guys outside. Not a lot of my kind in this empire, from what I've noticed. What's to ensure that, I'm actually gonna go anywhere, do anything?
Well, that's entirely up to you. We will provide for you training, guidance, a means to hone your skills and to channel them into something more productive than just stealing credits. All we require is your allegiance.
He kind of this is the first indication of the chin rub, the face rub, and it's his skin isn't as roughed up down there. It's really smooth, and so he just rubs it a little bit. Well, I guess sign me up.
Agent Tyron leans in. He pushes the data pad aside. Welcome to the ISB, Mr. Botana. And then when we cut back to Bigax, it's Bigax in the present. Now, sitting on this cold bed sticking out of the wall. We cut back to the tower on present-day Sokoro. Maybe we're just outside, hovering high above, and we're seeing blaster fire zipping through in the window, or whatever. There's red and green lights shooting back and forth while everyone else is evacuating due to a fire emergency, a quote-unquote fire emergency. but they still in the thick of it are Team LO, which consists of LO, Creed, and Verse, who are shooting at some droids. One is a beefy droid, and there are now currently just 2 other droids who have been manning the guns. The security droid shot a net cannon basically from their chest. The doors of this room open, and strolling in, I should say stomping in to the room are 2 more security droids, preceded by P4, the envoy droid, the protocol droid with synth skin, who works with the Triumvirate, most notably Jado Jinzel. So P4 is I knew it. Something was wrong immediately as soon as you left. Maybe it's your grotesque design. It makes you seem untrustworthy.
I wouldn't say my design is grotesque. Vintage, perhaps. And then is going to direct their fire over to P4 instead of this beefy security boy that they were targeting before.
At the top of the round, it is Creed, who is being controlled by Alex. What would you like to do?
Jado Jinzel is actually controlling Creed. I want to break free of the net.
It's a hard athletics check. That's 3 purple, and you have 3 green.
3 for 3. Oh, get this off me. 1 success, 2 threats.
So Creed throws this net off. Oh, I think I know what happens. Okay, cool. I know what those threats are. Don't worry about it. Creed's able to do something else. So now you're able to make maneuvers, yada, yada, yada. What would you like to do?
He has the axe, right? He has a vibro axe. That's his thing. Oh yeah. After he throws the net off, he's gonna turn around and see it, and he's gonna like have this, you know, the standard Creed face, like questioning, and then it's gonna turn to like a growl, you know, like his primal instincts kick in, and he's gonna just swing the vibro axe at this damaged droid.
That's gonna be a 2 purple check for melee checks, and then Creed's pretty beefy, so you have 2 yellow, 1 green.
So he's like me with computers, but with like physical stuff. I like it. Wow. Oh boy. 2 success, 3 threat. God damn it, Creed, stop.
Tell us what it looks like when Creed busts this security droid apart.
So he gets the vibro axe right into like the center of the head. Doesn't go all the way through, just kind of cuts like a nice chunk of it. And you hear mechanical whirring and chips kind of sparking. And he kind of pushes, he like, at his rage subsides when his axe gets stuck, and and he grabs it with one hand and uses his open hand to push off of the head of the droid and like takes a few steps back, like stumbling backwards.
That's so great.
Cool. So it's like real cool for a moment, and then he like he panics out.
He panics. Yeah.
I love it. Oh, that's great. LO, it is to you.
Oh.
You said you were firing at P4, right?
Yes, I also need to really commend that wonderful Creed impersonation. It was spot on.
Perfect.
Yes, Elo is going to target P4 and fire.
Oh, you know what? I forgot to mention. I'm sorry. So your pew pew is a short range weapon, and this door is currently medium range from you. So in order to get into range to fire, you'd have to get out from your cover to shoot at P4.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it to it. Nothing to it but to do it.
So Elo gets up out of their position, takes a couple of strides forward.
Can I barrel roll over the table?
Absolutely you can. That would be hella cool. So yeah, you just like roll over the console and begin targeting P4. Please go ahead, and now you are in short range of them, so you're sort of exposed, but you can roll a 1 difficulty light ranged check.
Okay.
I believe.
Most acrobatic medical droid in the system. Hands down.
It's those acrobat droid parts.
Exactly. Oh, 1 success, 2 advantages. I really want to take off some of that synth skin too, by the way, when this occurs. I just wanted to singe and make him as grotesque as he called me, bitch.
Well, I think that's exactly what you do then.
Okay, I want like Terminator style melted half of a face.
So you fire at P4 directly in their face, basically, and it's like hits them, fizzles. Their flesh is melting off. You can see the protocol droid underneath. The eyes glow red. You will pay for that.
And then we get sued by James Cameron. All right.
Yeah!
Woo, we did it!
Because if it wasn't going to be Disney, it was going to be James Cameron. Then it is to Verse. Verse is going to shout, "Get control of the guns!" The droids... Firstly, they're going to shoot at Creed.
Ian, I'm letting you know right now. If you kill Creed, I'm off the show.
Oh no, Jamie, you'll have to do Alex's part, and I don't know how well it's gonna work.
I mean, I'll do my best.
Yeah. She got it. She's got the part.
3 success, 1 advantage. That's gonna be 10 damage to Creed.
It's horrifying. He's the most harmless creature in the galaxy.
Creed takes a pretty substantial hit. He takes some blaster fire to the shoulders and gut. Not looking great for him. Then it's these remaining 2 security droids. One of them is gonna take a shot at LO. 2 success, 2 advantage. They are going to fire a net out from their chest. It goes over LO, all over their parts, and snares them. Then the next is going to... They're gonna take a shot at LO. That makes sense.
All miss, please, God. Lord in heaven.
For success, I need you to take... Oh, that's gonna be a lot. That's gonna be 10 stun.
Oh no.
Going through your soak. Boo! That blue circle hits LO, and you feel it messing up your circuits as you are ensnared in this net. And P4 says,
You were never worthy of Jado Jinzel. It is time to unmake you.
We're back aboard the Severity with Begax.
Begax is still sitting on the steel bed. After a time, he would kind of, prop himself up, get up, and walk over, still feeling the effects of the critical wound, the critical injury he has taken. I don't know. We don't know what it is yet, but I'm just gonna say it's inducing vertigo in him. Where every time he takes a step, it's kind of like things kind of tilt a little bit off center. Yeah, and he's trying to right himself, and he'll lean up against one of the I assume there's bars or some sort of the main gate, or is it walled off?
You know what I think it is? It's that that shielding, it turns red when things can't pass between it, and then blue when stuff does pass between it. It's the same kind of thing on that lightsaber that you have. That's it's just it's blue light that allows stuff to pass through it. But yeah, it's like that. It's like that ray shielding. So it's red right now, and it's just
okay.
And you can see through it.
I don't remember if you can touch it or not. I think it rebuffs you.
Yeah, you don't want to touch it. It doesn't. Yeah. It doesn't do any damage. I don't think, but it's solid. You can't get through it.
Yeah. So he'll try, as he's feeling kind of off center. He'll walk towards one of the walls of the room and look at the emitters that are shooting up the ray beams, and he'll kind of just quickly kind of in his head analyze okay, how can I get out of here? Even though he's super injured, he's still trying to come up with ways to get out, but everything comes to the same conclusion where he's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Okay, so he's looking for a way out, basically.
It's for me, it's more to show who he is, right? He is an escapist. He's always trying to get out of bad situations.
I understand, yeah.
So it's just him going through the motions.
Then, yeah, I like that. Big X is just looking around, and he hears something somewhere in this brig. Maybe almost a familiar voice. Can't quite see the face where he's standing at right now, but he does hear someone singing a song, a sad song. I don't know why I ran away. Save your tears for another day. That's what you're hearing.
Big X hears the voice of someone he did not want to see in this dimension or in the life day dimension. And he looks down, I assume whatever possible hallway, whatever part of the hallway he's allowed to look down, which is not much, I'm assuming. And he's just gonna call out, Memorax, is that your name?
Hello? Who is that?
Remember that ship that,
That is not my name.
What is your name? I've met you before, I just can't remember your name.
My name is Devrek Nemenox of the Crooked Horn.
That's the one,
You should not forget it. Wait, you sound very familiar. Have we spoken before?
Devrak, it's, my name is Begax, and, I'm the ship that destroyed, I want to say, 2 or 3 of yours.
It is coming together now. It is all coming together. Yes, that's right. You blew up my ships. Oh, man, I am still very raw about that. Those were new ships. Those were a gift.
Okay, well, you were threatening my life and the life of my crew, so, what's fair is fair.
I had to suffer a lot to get those ships. I had to speak with that Hutt all the time, and you know how hard it is to get Hutty's ships? Especially for me? They were brand new.
Yeah, I've made dealings with Hutts before. I know how they can be.
Oh. Which one?
It's not important. What is important is why the criff are you here?
Why are we all here?
This is the question I am asking a lot. I was picked up by the Empire. They blew up the rest of my ship, and most of my crew is dead, and then they scooped me up. And I do not have very many friends outside of this cell, and the one that I was hoping for, the hut I mentioned, he is not coming. I don't know where he is.
I can't imagine you not having friends. What a surprise.
I am a very personable person, okay? I am very jovial. You should have seen us during Life Day when my crew was alive. I had a great time.
For some reason, I feel like I do have a vision of that, but that's not important.
Why are you here? The story of my ships.
There's a list, I'm sure, somewhere that has all that information. I don't feel like getting into it right now. What is important is we potentially can be friends. If we can find a way out.
Do you know a way? I am listening.
I'm pretty useless without my gear. And I have been recently injured again. And I'm pretty sure that I'm not getting medical attention on purpose because the guy overseeing this ship is an old boss of mine.
Really? Sounds like you are the one without friends.
No, I have friends. They're just doing something else right now that...
Oh, sure. That is what everyone says who does not have friends. Oh, yeah, I've got friends. They are up in Space Canada or whatever.
Big X just like cuts him off like, "No, listen. There's a whole thing at work right now, and I could really use your help. And let's say you get us out of here successfully. I give you passage to wherever you want. Because one of us still has a ship."
Okay. I like this. We get each other out. We help each other.
Yes.
And I imagine, like, now at this point, like, the two of you have sort of, like, positioned yourself in against the door frames of this thing so you can actually, like, see each other now and have a conversation. Yeah, and you can see this Devronian with, like, this crooked horn. I think it's on his left side. One of them is like crooked and sort of like pulling his face off into a sneer. He's just sort of like pressing it up against the wall, trying to like get a good look at you.
So he'll see my injury, my massive shot wound. Yeah.
Whoa, that looks bad.
But yeah, he's like, he's willing to make a deal, but he confesses like, he doesn't really know of a good way out of here.
Big X kind of looks at the room again, and then he'll look through the hall, like down the hall, to see if there's any security monitor, any droid, or if there's somebody watching them besides the cameras, which he knows are probably pointed down the hall or something.
So, I imagine you press like Big X presses to look down the hall at another angle to see if he can get a glimpse or anything. Roll me a perception check.
Oh yeah.
Let's call it average.
Perception. Oh wait a minute, we're bad at this. Wash. Nothing.
You can barely make out something going on there, but it's hard to see, at the angle that you're at. You can tell that people are out there, and you can hear them, like, moving about and stuff like that.
So there are guards, is what I'm seeing. That's what I got. Alright, he's gonna push off the wall, or get away from the wall, and try and think. He'll start rubbing his chin vigorously again, like, You have anything in your cell besides the bed?
I am looking. No. Oh, there's something. Oh, it's just a cigarette butt.
Okay. Well, sit tight. Divok. Do you have a nickname or something, or is it just Divok?
The Vrek Nemenox of the Crooked Horn. This is the name that I go by. You should know this.
No, I'm calling you D. Your name is D, and you're gonna like it.
I don't love it, but I understand we have to be efficient.
And then Big X will tell him, "Let's just sit tight. I'll come up with something. Just, if you ever get a chance and you're outside, if they take you somewhere, take note of where you're going. What room looks like what, and, I'll take it from there."
Okie dokie.
And then he'll just sit down. He'll sit down not on the bed this time, but on the ground, and he'll just like, it's him thinking. It's him sitting on the ground trying to figure out how the hell to get out of here. His mind is racing now that he's got someone else in here with him. Like, he's gonna try and use this resource.
It is here that we like sort of go into Big X's mind and the way he's thinking, the things he's putting together, and he can't help but allow his thoughts as they come, and some of those thoughts are thoughts from the past, back on Malastair, seeing if there's anything in his training, anything that he has happened upon before that can help him, and those thoughts lead to a facility on Malastair or somewhere near Malastair. There are terminals that are like sunk into the floor, sort of like conversation pits, and they have a bunch of like screens and keyboards and all kinds of things. There are these like walkways that are elevated above them. That's sort of like the design of like the Imperial ship bridges that you see in the films and stuff like that. And Tyron oversees the work that goes on here. Pit watching is what a lot of the slicers have coined it. They see him and they're like, oh, he's pit watching again. You sometimes see him walking around with Gran leadership, diplomats or politician. Gran are the three-eyed species that they have colonized the planet Malastair and sort of like represent it in the Senate. But yeah, you see him with these diplomats and politicians of the Gran, but never with Doug leadership. You never see him with any Doug. You've seen this program that you've been a part of become more homogenous recently. There's more and more humans, strictly humans, that are coming in. But BGAX's progress in this program has been amazing. He's implemented workflows that makes people's jobs easier, and some people are really happy about it, but some people are kind of jealous because he makes them look bad. And he's been working for days, maybe weeks, sleepless nights, trying to crack this encryption, this one encryption. And it's not that it's hard to crack, but it's elusive. Once he cracks it, that information is useless. It's outdated at best. But this is the night. BGAX thinks back to the night that he finally cracks it. And it has specific dates, times, peoples, locations, places, people, where they're gonna be. It's useful information about a mounting insurgency on Malastair. Chai Chai, the Chadra fan, who is BGAX's cubicle mate, has been by his side through this. Right now, he is asleep, snoring softly at his console, because he doesn't quite have the stamina that BGAX has, but he's been there through these long nights as a show of support. And BGAX, what's the feeling? Like, what is that moment that BGAX cracks this code finally? He's finally able to get it.
So, like you mentioned, it's been elusive, but BGAX has developed against the authority of his superiors. He's begun to develop some code cylinders, some data spikes, if you will. And he's got like a little, I would say that's like a little some sort of desk device or something that like has 4 slots. Should I keep these? Like maybe some authorized data spikes or things that the ISB gives you, you know? Some standard issue ones, but he's replaced those with his own make and mark. So he's got 4 of his own right there. And he's going through the program. He's clicking through, you know, a couple different lines here and there. And he'll take the first data spike and then put it in and then, you know, using it up. There's like a little meter or some sort of indicator. It's like, hey, this much percentage of it has been used, blah, 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 blah. And then that one runs out, he'll use a second one. Quickly typing his... It's point of order. Some of his keys bindings have now gone into Doug. He's got his own custom keyboard. And if in comparison to the deck, it's much larger. It's like maybe three parts. There's like 3 keyboards entirely.
He takes advantage of his multiple limbs.
Yeah, that's what he's used to. So he'll run through the second code cylinder and he'll take the last one or the third one, and he sees there's one left, and he's like thinking in his head, I can't get that bad. I can't get to the 4th one. And he's racing against the clock. Chai Chai's snoring, and he's taking all this external stimuli, but he's focused on what he's doing. And unfortunately, he has to go to the 4th one, and when he pulls the 4th one, he quickly slides it in, continues typing, there's like him chin rubbing again, is using his foot hand to type on one of the other keyboards, and eventually the screen turns green. The list populates with the names, locations, the dates.
And he maybe like wakes Chai up. They celebrate this late night at these terminals where no one else is around. And this information is sent. Big Axe compiles it. He disseminates it. And the operation proceeds. And it's a success. I think as part of this, we see Tyron like watching maybe like a drone strike camera or something somewhere on Malastare, where stormtroopers just like roll in and raid and arrest and annihilate these homegrown rebels. There's basically nothing left. And in the coming days, it's touted as a major accomplishment for the department. There are speeches and cheers and celebrating, but always the name Geralt Tyron. Always his face. Or maybe the grand leadership next to him. It's never Big Axe. There's never any mention of his hard work or his long hours. And he's had enough. And Big Axe thinks back, storming his way to confront Tyron.
Big Axe marches through the hallway. A couple troopers see him and clock him, but he just kind of ignores them entirely. We can see Big Axe's Imperial uniform that he used to wear, but it's pristine. It's like pressed. You know, it's got the little the indicators for what the part, like ISB indicators. You know how they have like the different color to mark like, oh, you're this rank.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have many, but he's got 2, right? He's got the badge that's ISB, and he's got this weird provisionary one next to it, which when Big Axe remembers about it, it brings him both joy but also pain. It's an indicator that like you were part of this pilot program for essentially alien races joining the ISB. So there's this weird duality to it that he carried. That like when he remembers it, because we're looking at it from his mind, right? So when he remembers it, it's more of like a love-hate. Not many things can inspire love and hate, but at the same time, but that thing always did.
You bust into wherever Geralt Tyron is. In fact, when you come into the room and you are interrupting a meeting with him and a Gran, like Gran leadership. They seem to be discussing something, and he looks at you and says, "Mr. Botano, can I help you?"
Oh, I think the time for helping passed, Tyron. He'll look at the Gran, and it's obviously he's got like the diplomatic sash. I just envisioned like he's got the nice clothes, and his posture's very nice. Big Axe sees this, and he gets that snarl, and he shakes it off. When the Criff was I going to be given the credit for what was done? The fame? The place in the Imperial Archives of History? Do I get that for what I did?
Tyron looks at this Gran and says like, "Would you excuse us for a minute?" And the Gran like nods their head and leaves Big Axe. Brushing past him, you can see one of the eye stalks just like doing like a quick check as it leaves the room. As he walks by, BX kind of he sees the eye stalk. Like this is a look he's been used to his whole life. Yeah,
so when he looks,
totally.
When he sees that move, it just like flashes back to every time the Gran have looked down on him, you know, and he'll say, "Next time I see you do that stalk move, I'm taking the whole stock."
Oh, you just hear like a very stuffy like, "I never."
Yeah.
Well, I never.
Walk out the room. Tyron sits down and in like a high back chair and gestures for Big Axe to sit across from him, much like they sat across the first time they met.
He won't sit. He'll walk over and he'll just like look at him and say, "I'll stand. Thanks."
Mr. Botano, we are all a part of something greater now. We're building something bigger than us. An empire that is keeping a lasting peace, longer than the galaxy has ever known. And you want to, what, jeopardize that? With these petty accolades?
He'll snarl again.
Peace. You think what we're doing is peace, Tyrant?
He'll look. I'm assuming there's some sort of window behind him that overlooks a part of Malastare. And he'll look out the window for a second and he'll get an internal feeling of when he got scooped up and put in that transport the first time. And his mindset then compared to the mindset now. He'll say,
whatever morality I had died the day I signed myself up with the Empire. And I'm okay with that. That's fine. But what I won't have is some bipedal freak take my work and claim it as his alongside an enemy I've known since the day I was born. Since the day my Criff-loving mother pushed me out and my other 9 siblings. To see you stand with them and say that you did this together and not include me or even Chai Chai for the hard work we did. A lot of people died, and honestly I don't give a criff about them, but what I do care about is what I'm owed.
and he'll get a little closer and he'll grip the table with his his hand feet. Not the ones on the ground, but the upper ones.
And what I'm owed, Tyron, is whatever pretty cushion you're sitting on right now that you don't really need, but you'll take anyways. Because I know guys like you, Tyron. I've seen you. And the only reason you're still sitting and taking a breath in this instance is because of those badges on your chest. I'm gonna ask you nicely. Give me what I am owed.
Tyron, looks back at you with those, severe eyes, the same eyes that you had seen that first day you met him, and he's like, what you're owed. You think you're entitled here to some kind of selfish reward. But everything that you have done, every accomplishment that you have made has been because of the Empire. It is us who brought you up. It is the Empire who trained you. It is the Empire who gave you the skills and the ability to be here to do what you do. And let me tell you, Big X, your work is a mess. It's a scramble of dug nonsense and unorganized code everywhere. And who do you think puts that all back together? Who do you think makes that presentable? Who do you think turns that into something that we can actually use? There is a way in which we do things here. You think you're owed something, but you have no discipline, Botano.
Big X will pull himself away from the desk. His hands still gripped into fists. And he'll say,
You're right. Discipline's always been a weakness.
He'll give him a salute. And then he'll walk away. Normal pace. And as he's walking away, he'll say,
I'm sorry for my outburst. I'll work on my discipline.
And he'll turn around and just look over his shoulder.
And I'm sure you won't be disappointed in my results.
And he'll leave the room. And as he's walking down the hallway, he's taking a deep breath, walking past the stormtroopers. I'm just gonna assume there's 2 in there, just chilling. And as he walks past one of them, that just looks at him, kind of, because he's shorter and he's looking down on him.
Yeah.
And he looks at him, and I'm just gonna, for flavor, the stormtrooper says something like, "Doug's." And he's just gonna turn around and snarl and grab him by his chest armor. And the other one will probably hold a gun up and and he'll look at both of them. Back to the one he's grabbing.
I can turn you into pulp within seconds. Use you as a shield as he fires that blaster and kill him too. But instead, I'm gonna let you go. Because I want you to remember the name. Butano.
He'll let him go and throw him against the wall. And I'm assuming I can do this because I got 3 brawn. So I'm gonna like toss him back. Hits the wall a little bit. Looks to the one who's aiming down at him, and he'll just turn, like, even though the guy's aiming at him, he's just gonna turn around and keep walking down the hallway. And in his mind, he knows he's already got the gears turning, cracked the mainframe, put everything onto the mobile deck, have Chai run some interference, and then leave.
He's already putting into motion his plan.
He's using his discipline.
I think it's what sort of disrupts Bigax out of this memory is the sound of blaster fire. We're back on the severity. You hear like some screaming from down the hall where the guards are.
Oh, Bigax kind of like rushes to the side that connects to the hallway. He's like, Devrock, you there?
Yes, I heard it too.
Get ready. I don't know who it could be.
Stomping down the hall is a stormtrooper. They stomp out in front of Bigax's cell, and they say through this distorted mic, "You're coming with me." And Bigax, you can see kind of a little bit of fur just like sticking out the neck.
He'll see this and he'll say,
Yes, sir. And next time, if you're gonna take the uniform, you should take the turtleneck that's underneath also.
And the stormtrooper pulls the helmet off, and underneath is Gertute. And you can see, like, you know when you wear goggles and they make like the ring around your, he's got like fur imprints of like this helmet basically. And he pulls the helmet off and he's like, "Oh, that is so uncomfortable. These helmets, they are not made for button heads."
Yeah, they're not made for anyone but humanoid heads.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right, hey, we gotta help out the guy next to us.
Who is that?
It's a friend. Just
I am
get
the
him out.
wreck Neminox of the Crooked Horn.
No, stop.
I say we leave him.
I have already broken too many promises. We need this guy. I'm sure we do for something, but just help him out. Get him out of there.
Okay, whatever you say. Doot, doot, doot. He like hits a series of buttons. The ray shielding goes up, and Bigax, you're free.
Alright, I'll do the same thing for Devrock's cell.
Thank you very much. I knew there was a bond between us. A warrior bond. Am I right?
Partially. Look, you've probably been here longer than I have. Where do they keep the gear?
I know exactly where they keep the gear.
Is there a place? Like, do you have a name, a place?
It is on the ship.
He'll just like facepalm a little bit, rub his chin, he'll look at Gur.
Did you see where they kept our gear, Gur? Or my gear?
Yes, I think I saw it in the security where I got the uniform.
Okay, let's make our way there.
Be honest, how does it look on me?
He'll look him up and down.
You know, never let it be said that Bothans can't wear armor. You guys look pretty good in it, gotta say.
It's a little tight in the crotch, too, you know.
Yeah, well, I mean, you guys are packing more heat than they are, so... And you have, and if I'm not mistaken, you guys have like barbs at the end of yours.
Jesus.
Oh, I see you have been looking at some Bothan Hollow vids.
Well, I got a little bored on Bathaui. I was there for about a month or so, so yeah.
Hey, you know, hey, don't yucky yum. He like nods over to Devrek. Devrek winks at Bigax, and the three of you escape and leave. Let's cut back to the tower and get back into this combat. Where is Elo at right now? Like, what's happening with Elo in the middle of this firefight?
Currently, they're covered in this net, being shocked. But I do think their main focus after hearing Verse is to get to the big guns. So, like, this firefight may continue, but Elo is pretty pinpointed on getting to the guns after getting out of this mess that they put themselves in.
Maybe what it is like Elo's head like rotates like 180 degrees like a like a droid can do, but a human being can't do, and like focuses on the guns, you know?
Yes.
Like something like that. Okay. Let's get into it. Creed, what would you like to do, buddy?
Creed heard verse, obviously, and that's his boss, even though we are technically their bosses. Thank you, because we own the ship.
That is true.
Creed's gonna... I'm not engaged with anything yet. I don't think he's not engaged with anybody yet. He was making his way to the... So he's gonna, like, hard skid, turn around, and if I can, maneuver to where Elo is and try and free them from the net.
Oh, okay, yeah. You can do a maneuver called assist that you are doing, so you can help out. You will add a blue die to Elo's check. You know what? Let's get that check out of the way right now. Let's do it. So, Elo, you can make a hard athletics check with a blue die if you would like to try and get out of this net.
I'm gonna flip a light side point too.
Oh, yes, I love it. Okay. Flip a light side to upgrade one of your greens to a yellow.
Hell yeah.
Here we go. 2 success, 1 threat.
Excellent, excellent. Tell us how you escape from this net with the help of Creed.
Well, I think because Elo's head is turned all of the way around, they see Creed coming and is going to say, grab this piece here, I'll go from under there, and is just going to lift it up above them and throw it. Throw it towards the bad guys. There you go.
Creed still has an action. If you want to do anything else with that,
Yeah, I want to attack the one that threw the net at them, at Elo.
you are going to have to get engaged for that, which means Creed is going to have to take another maneuver, which means Creed is going to have to take some strength.
Burn. Yeah, how much strain is it per maneuver?
2, yeah. Go ahead and make that attack for me.
Crit ton of successes. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 success and 3 threat.
3 threat, okay.
So many threats.
He stays stacking the threat.
Yeah, that's that is true. It's like, but that seems very in character with Creed. Creed's axe slices really hard into this droid and makes a sizable wound. And then it is to Elo.
Elo is going to book it for these big guns.
Good.
Give me the big guns.
Big guns. Yeah. All right. Yeah, you can spend a maneuver to get over there.
Okay. Okay. Now that I'm at the big guns,
You're like a dog who catches the car.
right. Like, what do I do? Actually, I have an idea of what to do, but I need to ask logistically some questions. So you said that through this window, you can see the other adjacent tower, the casino, and most of, like, the town.
Yes.
In this other adjacent tower, like, where's the triumvirate at? Are they in this other adjacent tower? Are they in the tower that I'm in?
Oh, I see. Okay. So I originally thought that you would be in the same tower as them, but I kind of see where you're going with this. And if you want to do something cool where you want to like blow up the tower, the other tower, then I'm totally fine with doing that if that's what you want to do.
That's what I was thinking, but I don't want to like retcon anything either. I just don't really remember.
I don't think we explicitly like stated that anywhere.
Okay.
So if you want to do something cool, like let's make it official, you know, that I'm totally fine with that.
Okay. Elo is going to take over these guns and is going to try and target where they believe the triumvirate is in this other tower. And I suppose fire. But before they fire, Elo wants to yell out so that P4 can hear. Say goodbye to Jizzy Daddy.
No!
And then it's gonna fire.
Fantastic.
Oh no, Jinzo.
Sorry, Alex.
Bigax has actually previously on his rolls, he made it so that there would be a visual cue of when this lockdown happened. That is manifest. Like you can see exactly where the triumvirate is because across the way, I would say a couple levels up on the opposite tower from where you have control of these guns is a penthouse looking level that has like flashing lights strobing out. So you would presume that's exactly where the triumvirate is, or you hope that that's where you've locked them in.
Right. And if I remember from the last session, there's some sort of monitor that we saw them on, not really worried about anything.
I think so, yeah.
So P4 will get to see the destruction happen. That's wonderful.
You saw it on the security stuff when you were in the security area. So yeah, there's a way. Let's do this. Let's do a couple of rolls here for what you want to do. First off, I need you to give me a computer check to get into that security feed if you want to like bring it up and show P4 the carnage that's about to happen.
What is the difficulty?
I think the difficulty is not a hard one. I think it's pretty easy because you have control of some of these systems. So go ahead and give me a simple computers check. 1 purple.
Okay. 2 success, 1 advantage.
You can bring this security feed up. What does that look like?
Well, I picture it as like there's all of these monitors, but maybe one bigger screen monitor, a la like NASA style, you know, where they have like the big thing right up the front for everybody to see. And Ella's gonna pull that up and then is gonna try to kill all these people.
You put it so succinctly.
Yes.
Make me a gunnery check.
Okay.
Let's call it average.
2 success, 1 advantage. This is going so well.
So there's these flashing lights, and when you pull up the feed, those flashes, we can see them now outside through the window and also on this screen, this big mission control screen. And we see the triumvirate. Jado Jinzel, Typhon Cask, and Lysa Primarch. And they are concerned. Now that there is this alarm that has gone off, they are looking around. You can see maybe Typhon like banging on one of the doors that refuses to open. His second in command trying to figure out furiously what's going on, trying to like calm in to people, get people on the line. And Ello has control of these guns. What happens next?
Ello is going to fire. Like, it's almost like a one step right after the other event in Ello's mind, where it's like, pull up the security cam, target, fire. Because this obviously was not the plan. They were supposed to take down the casino, but we're doing it live, baby. So, things gotta change. This combat, I don't think, is going very well for anybody. And I'm hoping to maybe get P4 to, I don't know, freak out and cry. I don't know.
Hard for a droid to cry, but yeah.
He's been bullying me.
So it's very like procedural almost. Click on, yeah, but there's like this cold calculation that Ello knows exactly what they're doing, and that is to evoke a reaction. And they turn these guns and click the button. And we hear the guns explode. They fire out into the tower, and it just... There's a concussive blast, and one you can feel, like, you know, do you ever, like, when you go to a fireworks show, and you can feel it in your chest as the top level of the adjacent tower explodes into flame from this artillery fire and goes up. And there's just smoke and ash billowing out. The traffic, the like ship traffic around this building, everyone like veers off. There's chaos. People are like moving away. Some ships like crash into each other, like hitting each other and sort of like making this empty space as this blast zone like coronas out. And there's like a Zolly on P4, and you can just see like the horror in their one eye, their like animatronic features straining, and they cry out,
"Jizzy Daddy, no!"
The security cameras gotta go to like static.
Verse cries out from her position, "Now the casino!" And that's all she can do.
The heck, Verse? Verse, you're supposed to be our secret weapon.
You know, I'm trying something that she's supposed to be able to do, and I am rolling shit. So it's not working out. P4 is going to try and take a blast on LO. Nope, that's a miss too. God, I've been washing out all my rolls. And then it is the security droids. I think one of them is going to fire a net at Creed again.
No.
Man, yeah, just a wash. A bunch of advantages, but nothing.
Just more advantage and disadvantage piling on top of Creed continually.
So I'm going to give some of those advantages to the next that this droid is going to fire on Verse to hopefully start bringing her down. There we go. There's some successes. Verse taking a hit, and LO. Before we cut away again, would you like to say or do anything?
It's tough playing a droid, because if LO could have a sadistic smile, now would be the time. But obviously, they don't have that capability. So LO's just gonna turn around and watch as P4 has this like little breakdown, and then just turn back around to the guns and get ready to fire again. Like taking a quick moment to like enjoy, but being like, okay, there's still business to attend to.
Got it, yeah. Blaster fire buzzes by LO as P4's shot goes wild. LO just
shrugs it off.
Waveform line unmoving, and then body turns around while the head is still staring, maybe. And then the whole thing turns around as the guns begin to position around somewhere else. Then we cut away from that back up to the severity. What is up? What are you doing? Where are you going?
Yeah, the boys are going to get Bigax's gear. We're all moving through hallways stealthily, I'm assuming.
Okay, cool.
And I think something's going on with the ship. I don't remember if do we turn any alarms on in this one?
I think that is by now shut off. Go ahead and make me a stealth check. Let's call it an average check as you make your way, following Gur, who has said he knows where this gear is.
That is 1 success, 1 threat.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you make your way. Let's call it where Gur got his uniform. At this point, no one has been alerted, and as you come in, there are a bunch of officers like on the floor. And with some like blaster burn on them, and Gur like gestures for you to go inside and just kind of like shrugs at the officers.
Yeah, Bigax walks in, walks over the bodies.
Holy criff. You know, you gotta put bodies in like containers and stuff and hide them.
We don't have the time.
Alright.
He'll go through their pockets like taking like cred sticks or whatever. He just starts going through it. Oh yeah, okay, good.
Okay.
He takes an Imperial officer hat. He takes like one of the hats. Like, yeah, that's a good one.
Sure, yeah, gotcha. Yeah, you like pat down the bodies real quick. You get a hat for sure. Are you looking for creds? Do you want some creds? Is that
no?
You just like flavor wise?
If they have, yeah. Just like if they have something, but he's just like doing it to do it.
One of them has a wallet and it's got like their kids in it or something like.
Closes the
door. Yeah, okay.
Pulls the money out, then closes the
wallet. Gives the corpse a nice little pat, like there,
right on the cheek.
Yeah, I'll go to like a locker or a storage container, whatever is present in the room, and then open it.
You open up all the holdings and you find all your gear in there, everything that's been confiscated except for the deck. It is not there.
You guys will look to Gur.
The deck's not here.
That Tyrant guy. It was in his office. I saw it as I was walking by. It's the one with all the Doug keys on it, right?
Yeah.
And it's got that cool lighting effect.
Yes, RGB. That's That was special request when I had Creed go get it. I'm gonna have to get my deck back.
Are you kidding me? We are in the hornet's nest. We don't even have control of the guns yet.
And I'm gonna go over to like some sort of console really quickly. Start typing in information like I want surveillance of the planet. I want to see what stage Team Elo is at right now, if I can.
Yeah. Give me a computers check.
That is 3 success, 1 advantage.
It looks like one of the towers has been exploded.
Oh.
Which is kind of divergent from the plan, because the plan was to have the ship guns shoot the tower.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that means for Bigax, but that's what you see.
Bigax sees this and immediately knows that an alternate route has been taken. So he'll look to the to Gur.
Oh, you know what? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but you know what's really important is you now have comms again.
Oh. Yeah, so he'll see the information and he'll radio in.
Hello? Come in, hello?
Well, look who decided to join us.
Why is the tower already blown up?
Someone was late.
I got arrested again.
Well, we had to improvise.
Okay. Is there any purpose of me being on this ship anymore?
I don't... Okay. I'm a little busy right now, Bigax. We could probably use your help down here.
It's just a little blaster fire, come on. I deal with it all the time, it's not a big deal.
They're shooting nets at us.
Is that Creed?
Tell Bigax I said hi.
Alright, well, I gotta finish some business up here. And then as soon as I get what I need, we'll head down and pick you guys up in the tower that's not blown up.
No, that sounds fine. Take your time. I'm sure we'll be fine.
And then he won't respond back. He'll just look to Gur.
Sometimes I can't tell if they're being sarcastic or not. I don't think that's built in.
Yeah, no, that's something I didn't program that.
He'll look to Devrek and Gur and say,
You don't have to be here for this part, but I need my deck back. And possibly looking to repay a little blood for blood. So, if you want, you can take the ship and leave.
How will you get off the ship if we are leaving? In your ship? In my ship?
I need to get my deck back. And the guy who has it, Tyron, he's an old boss of mine. We still have to finish my exit interview. So, if you're willing to stay with me for this part...
I am happy to leave on the ship right now. I will tell you that much.
Yeah, I know you are, buddy. Yeah, I figured.
Surely it is in custody. Why don't I go and make sure that it is free to leave? And then you and your friend can go get the thing. So I don't have to do 2 voices at once.
Bigax he's gonna move his finger.
Gur, you go with him. Make sure the ship's ready. If I'm not back in the time necessary for you to get out of here safely, then you leave.
That is crazy. Where are you going to go? You are outmanned. Do you think you can get around?
Well, that's the thing about being a Doug. I can fit in spaces most people can't sometimes.
Gur, gives a quick look at you and he says, Alright, don't take too long. I will buy you as much time as I can, but then we need to take off.
Sure, that's not a problem. One more thing.
And I'm gonna flip a light side point, and I'm gonna roll up my sleeve, pull out a data spike, go over to the console, boop, fire systems, initiate.
My man, done.
Red lights, sprinklers, the whole works.
Music to my ears.
You know there's gotta be some engineers who are like, these fire alarms are just not helpful. They just constantly go off at the wrong time. There is never a fire.
The whole Imperial Engineering Corps on board this ship, they're like, what the
Yeah, we have got to fix this. We have got to make it harder to do this.
They're just like sitting there. They're sitting there. One of them runs in with the order. Hey, I just went from the new ramen place down on the planet. It's got the droid, picture of the droid on the back.
Okay, you flip the light side point. Those are powerful. There's another fire thing. Gur just gives you a nod. Him and Devrek head for the way.
Yep.
What does Bigax do?
And I go the opposite direction. I leave the room. I wait for them to leave, go down the hall towards the ship. I go the opposite direction towards Tyron's office, or his quarters, or wherever the hell he's hanging out.
Yeah. I imagine you just go through the door. Begax opens it up. It slides, and you see Geralt Tyron sitting there, like you've seen him before in memory past, and very recently, sitting across from you from his desk. When he sees you, though, he stands up. What does Begax do?
Are we in his office?
Yeah.
I close the door behind me, just hit the button. And as I hit the button, I motion with my my other hand, the disruptor pistol, and I just kind of like spin it around because I've become fairly acquainted with it. Just.
I see you are, operating on your instinct, as usual, Mr. Botano.
No. This is discipline. This is planned. You being here, however, I consider it a bonus. Extra credit.
I look at the room for my deck, just like scanning around if I can see it.
It's there, yeah, it's on his desk. It's just between you and him, but he doesn't make any move for it. And yeah, it's sitting there, the lights like going around on it, the RGB lights. And he looks at you, he looks at your blaster, and he says, "Are you going to kill me then?"
Maybe. Depends on how this plays out. You see, not everything can be planned. Discipline only builds things for you. Skill, and believe it or not, instincts. Those are the walls. Discipline's the foundation. And action, that's the final nail in the frame.
And I'll take a step closer to the deck.
Yeah, you do. He continues not to make a move for it. But he says, "If you don't kill me, you know I'm going to chase you across this galaxy."
He'll rub his chin.
Yeah, that's a problem. I'd rather not have any more blood on my hands.
I'll grab the deck slowly, not making any crazy movements, just grabbing it.
Yeah, you pull it towards you.
Putting it on my back.
Feels so good.
As Begax puts it on his back, he looks to Tyron. And I'll say,
You know, I always wondered why you couldn't share the glory. Why you couldn't share the accolades and the fame. I'm starting to see it now. It's not in your nature. You're built for one of two things. Success or failure. Nothing in between,
and he points to himself.
like what I'm used to. So, I guess I'll do you a favor, and instead of having you pick, I'll pick for you.
And I'll turn on the gun,
Your choice is failure.
and I'll shoot him.
I think you just do it. I think you just shoot him.
Finally, yeah. Then I'll do it in the neck, in the lower, where the neck meets the clavicle area down here. So even if I don't melt him, I burn a hole right there so he can't breathe. Just.
You shoot him right through the uniform. In fact, I think Begax sees the badge on his uniform that's part of that the leadership of the program that Begax was a part of, something that he holds with both great pride and great shame. And he sees that on Tyron's uniform close to his neck, and he blasts him right in there, and Tyron goes down.
Begax stands there for a second with the gun in hand, and puts it away, looks around the room very slowly. As the lights are still going, and he can hear in the distance the sirens, the klaxons going off in the distance, but they're muffled because the door's locked or closed. And he'll walk over to. I'm just gonna hopefully paint this, but there's like a mini bar or something, like a dry bar against one of the walls, you know. And he'll open the cabinet.
The spoils of his position.
Yeah, and it's just like alcohol from across these different places, you know, and then he'll just grab one. It doesn't matter what, he'll just take one. And he'll look at it for a second and then look back to where the body... He knows the body's behind the desk, but you can't see it.
Yeah, you can see like the boots sticking out.
Yeah, he'll lift up the bottle and he'll say, thanks. And he'll leave.
That's fucking cool. We see Bigax, like, making his way through the chaos that he has created down this hall with this bottle, maybe like diving into vents or something here and there, sliding around, and like hiding behind walls, waiting for the right moment for the troopers to pass, and then like going around the corner, you know. And he eventually makes his way to the hangar, which is a swarm of troopers, TIE fighter pilots, and everything. You can see the way. You can see it there. And it's like in the hangar, but there is this desert between him and the ship. How does he make his way?
Well, I have my deck back.
You do. It's been damaged a little bit too. It's not non-functional.
This is dinged up.
Well, you fried it the last episode.
Oh, I did. Yeah.
And I think, I mean, I think Bigax is smart enough to have not fried stuff to make it non-operational.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but yeah, it has taken some damage.
I'll look for a wall, the data port on the walls, a la R2D2 if I can.
You find one.
While the fire subsystems are going haywire, I'm gonna try and do like the TIE fighter detachment. You know how they're attached to those clips.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I'm gonna try to get access to those to drop them and just start causing absolute chaos.
Okay, very cool. I think that's a hard computer check, and I'm gonna give you a black die because your deck is a little busted.
There's a lot of dice, and when there's a lot, I always do bad. One success, one advantage.
Okay, all right.
Very
You've done
nice,
it. So, yeah, you get these controls for, like, TIE fighter deployment, and you release it. Boom! I think it's like the TIE fighters are, like, stacked up, like, one on top of another, you know, like, hanging there. And so I think the one above comes crashing down onto the one below, which, like, smashes, and then that comes crashing down onto the ground on the far side of the hangar and creates, like, explosion and noise and cacophony. And you see a bunch of bodies running over to that side to sort of deal with that, creating a way in which Bigax can scramble toward the ship.
He runs. He books it. He runs, and if any stormtroopers or officers like see him or get in that path, he just acts surprised, like, "Oh wow, look at that riff!" And he just like points to the falling. What do we do? And he's gonna keep running.
You run on board. Devrek and Gur are there, as well as Rat, who's sort of like in the navigator chair. You also see a bunch of engineers, like Imperial engineers, that are just like laid out on the ship floor. Like they've just been like, they're just like laid out here.
Bigax looks at them and looks at, I would assume Gur first.
Did you kill them too?
He shakes his head and points to Rat.
I look at Rat.
How? What?
Rat like spins around and he like shrugs, and then he like does a little like come on with his spindle as he starts like flicking switches on the ship.
Okay.
He jumps in the pilot seat and just like starts, you know, startup sequence and just mumbles to himself,
Rat, you're full of surprises, my man.
Flicking things on, looks back at Rat and just has like, if it can exist in this shot, it's Rat. Camera zooms in on Rat and you hear like the really eerie serial killer music from like the Criminal Minds TV show. Just zoom in on his lifeless, soulless face.
A lot of like just soulless droid faces in this episode. Yeah, and I think for flavor, I mean, I think you get away, but I think we see one of those classic Star Wars things where like it cuts to someone in like a control tower, and they're like, that ship doesn't have authorization to clear. Quick, someone shut down the hangar. And we like, boop, someone like goes to try and like turn that blue ray shield into red. And we see the way like getting ready to take off, the engine's spinning up, and it like shoots off out of the hangar. Let's cut back into this combat.
Creed's gonna swing. One triumph!
Oh, nice!
One
Yes,
threat.
Creed,
Nice.
get it.
And a threat also, so that's just classic Creed.
Yeah, tell us what it looks like with Creed cleaving this security droid out of existence.
I feel like it's gonna be more of the same, where the rage fills up again because he got tired of the net, and he stop putting it on my friends, and he just runs over, cuts the droid. I'd say he goes for the torso this time, and cuts clean through it, but he does it with so much force and so fast that he goes from rage to surprise again, and just moves like, oh, and like the force of him going through it, he didn't expect to not get stopped.
Yeah.
So he just kind of runs from, like, let's say, from one side of the behind the console to the other side behind the console. Just like,
Nice. I would say with that triumph, it's like a cleave move where it like cuts through one droid entirely and then also like cuts into the next security droid as well. That's very good. All right, LO, you on the guns. Laser fire blasting. You also have comms. Tell me what you're doing.
Well, I sort of picture as soon as that conversation with BGAX ends, LO, while aiming over at the casino, is going to sort of say to themselves, I'm always having to do the heavy lifting, and is going to fire upon the casino.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Give me that gunnery check. I'm gonna give you a black die because you're firing under duress.
Okay.
And it's far away. And I'm gonna flip a dark side point.
So I've got one purple, one red, one black.
Yeah, one of each.
One of each, baby! Oh my gosh, it was a wash except for one success.
Oh, you love to see it. You love to see it. Yeah, it's like pushing into LO's face. It's pushing in with all this chaos going on behind them. It's pushing into the like targeting system, and everything lines up. We see those guns fire again. You can really feel that concussive blast as artillery explodes into the tower of the casino, and it just shatters like glass onto the black sands below. Anything else you want to do?
LO is now just going to yell out to the rest of the team, time to go! Achievement unlocked. We did it. Good job, gang.
I kind of think we should take this into a cinematic space now, because there's not much left here to fight, and in this round of combat is just me rolling against myself, and that sucks and is not fun. So Verse sees LO, she's hunkered down, she nods, she jumps up, fires her blaster, wipes out the other small droid in there, taking it out. Creed, make us a path! And P4 begins to just run, running up to the seat that LO is in, and with their hands, some of the skin coming off, blaster burned, just grabs LO up out of the seat.
You're not getting out of here alive.
My immediate reaction is just, ew.
Yeah, there's like skin sloughing off the side of the face. The eyes are now doing a very jittery realignment as it's taking in LO's sensors.
Well, at least one of us will be dead, and is going to try to grapple out and maybe, like, thrust P4 up against this wall.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, yeah, like up against the window? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Let's do an opposed athletics check between you and P4.
Is Elo about to get our second window kill?
I'm going to tell you what you need to beat.
Oh boy.
I rolled 1 success, 1 advantage.
Oh boy.
So you just got to get more successes than that on your athletics check.
Well, my athletics isn't that great. Do we have any light side points left?
You do. There are 2.
Can I use one of those?
Absolutely you can. Absolutely you can. What you have to beat is 1 success and 1 advantage. If you can just beat that with an upgraded die, then you can get out of this grapple.
Okay, here we go. 1 success, 2 advantage, bitch!
You just pulled it off.
The dice are on our side tonight. Like, what is happening?
Wow.
You reverse this on P4, and you now have a controlling grip. There's 1 light side point left here that I'm looking at, and they're powerful things. If you want to flip that, you can tell me how this ends.
I'm gonna do it.
All right. We're flipping the last light
The
side
last
point.
light side point. I would like to slam their head into the glass. Busted side first.
And Elo, you slam P4's busted up face up against this glass. And tell me what happens.
There is going to be a crunching sound as you see the glass sort of splinter out from where P4's head has slammed, and you just hear the crunch of mechanical gears, and some fall to the ground as Elo lifts their hand away and P4 just slumps down onto the floor.
And that Terminator eye just like flares bright red and then slowly irises down and fades away into a pinpoint until it disappears altogether. It's at that moment that the glass explodes. The air rushes in, hot air. You can see it like playing on your sensors now. The hot air of Socorro. And wind and sand begin to blow into the room. And you can see a busted up YT-2400 flying into atmosphere towards the tower.
Hello, we're here. Where are you?
Just finishing up. Could use a ride.
Okay, I take it you're in the tower that's not on fire currently.
That is correct. And Ella's gonna start to wave
Okay.
their arm back and forth. Out the window.
I like to think Rat's like, woo, points like,
Yeah.
you know, he's like, he sees them. And he's like, yeah, I see them. And then the ship, Big X goes back on the comms.
I'm gonna position the ship right near the new door you just built. Stand by.
The ship spins around, the cargo bay drops out the bottom, and hovers in front of this window in front of you, Elo, and an exit is made out of this new door, as Alex said, out of this new door you just made. Verse is screaming at Creed, "New plan! Come on, this way!"
Creed's like, I just made the path.
Yeah. We see the ship picking up the rest of its crew. The screen wipes, and Obram gathering what few belongings he has and making his way into the cargo hold. We see this YT-2400 flying out of Sokoran space, through the asteroid belt, out of the gold system, and it jumps away into hyperspace. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Respect the Crit Empire's Edge. If you like what you heard, please consider supporting us by giving us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts. It's easy, free, and helps other people learn about the show. And we love reading your feedback. For more information about the show, visit @RespectTheCrit on Twitter and Instagram, or come chat with us on our official Discord server. Bigax is played by Alex Herrera, who you can find on Twitter @AE Herrera or on his Twitch channel, WadeWolf10. LO is played by Jamie Lee Bonez, who you can find on Instagram @jamielee.bones. I'm Ian Duncan, your GM and MC, and you can find me @idunks on Twitter and Instagram. The original music featured in this episode is provided with license or permission by a variety of talented artists, whose information and credits are linked in the show notes. Please support them by visiting their platforms to check out more of their work, and tell them how much you like their music in our show. The Star Wars role-playing system is published by Fantasy Flight Games. And remember, whatever the system, whether it's a miss or a hit, you always gotta respect the crit. Thank you very much, and may the Force be with you. You're gonna turn them into chicken nuggets. Is that what's happening here?
It's two of them were born together.
Oh my god.
I've been robbed.
Dual nugget.
This is only 9 because the 2 of them are few. Anyways, I'm sorry.
But it's like when you get a double Oreo. It's kind of a blessing, you know?
Yeah, but then you're short one,
Yeah.
you know, like you're missing one.
Conjoined chicken nuggets are a blessing, yeah. Oh man, conjoined chicken nuggets just does not sound good.
No.